You didn't arrive here by chance, because a quiet shift is already happening behind the scenes of global money, and almost nobody is talking about how serious it could become. For decades, the US dollar hasn't just been a currency. It's been power, influence, and control rolled into one. But now China has launched something that could challenge that dominance in a way sanctions, wars, and trade disputes never could. A fully state-controlled digital currency designed not just for China, but for the world. Imagine a system where money moves instantly across borders, without banks, without SWIFT, without asking permission. And now, ask yourself one uncomfortable question. What happens when countries realize they don't need the dollar anymore? The digital yuan isn't a crypto experiment or a tech demo. It's a strategic weapon built for a future where financial control matters more than military strength. Unlike Bitcoin or private digital coins, this currency is backed directly by the Chinese government. Programmable, traceable, and scalable to billions of users, and China isn't testing it quietly anymore. It's already being used in major cities, cross-border trade pilots, and international energy settlements. Here's where it gets interesting. The dollar dominates global trade because it sits at the center of payment systems. But what if China builds a parallel system where trade partners can settle instantly in digital yuan, bypassing the dollar entirely, no conversion fees, no delays, no exposure to US sanctions? Countries already frustrated by dollar dependency are watching very closely because using the dollar means living under US financial rules, and many governments are tired of that leverage. Now pause for a second and think about this. If you were a country facing sanctions or trade pressure, would you prefer a system controlled by Washington or an alternative that gives you breathing room? This is the question quietly spreading through Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. But here's the twist most people miss. China doesn't need to replace the dollar overnight to win. It only needs to weaken its grip. Even a small shift in global reserves, even a fraction of trade moving away from the dollar, can create massive ripple effects, higher borrowing costs for the US, reduced influence over global finance, and a slow erosion of trust in dollar supremacy. And trust is everything in money. The digital yuan is also programmable, meaning China can design how money is spent, when it expires, or where it flows, something traditional currencies can't do easily. And while that raises concerns about surveillance, it also gives governments powerful tools to control economic behavior during crises. Now let me ask you directly, do you think the future of money will be about freedom or control? Because digital currencies force us to choose. The US isn't ignoring this threat, but it's reacting slower, tied up in politics, regulation, and private sector debates, while China is moving with centralized speed and long-term planning. History shows that dominant currencies don't collapse suddenly. They fade as alternatives quietly grow stronger. Just like the British pound once ruled the world until the dollar replaced it, not with a bang, but with time. The real danger isn't that the digital yuan ends the dollar tomorrow. It's that one day, people wake up and realize the world has already changed. If trade routes shift, reserves diversify, and payment systems fragment, the dollar's dominance becomes optional, not automatic. And when money becomes optional, power follows choice. So the real question isn't will China's digital yuan end the dollar's global dominance? It's how prepared are we for a world where the dollar is no longer the only game in town? If this topic made you think differently about money, power, and the future, you already know what to do. Like the video so it reaches more minds, share it with someone who still believes nothing can challenge the dollar, and subscribe to the channel because the next shift in global finance is already forming, and you don't want to see it after it's too late.